From Vancouver to Halifax, Flin Flon to Estevan, he's covering everything that matters to you. It's the Rod Pedersen Show.
Good morning, Canada and sports fans around the world. Welcome to the Rod Pedersen Show on a Thursday, August 29th. This is episode number 63 of the program. We're coming to you from the bunker in beautiful Western Canada. I am the host, as the sign says, Rod Pedersen. He's the co-host, Darren DuPont. If I'm peas, he's carrots.
Good. I like carrots. I don't like peas.
How's that for a Forrest Gump reference?
The opposite.
Right out of the gate.
opposite?
Yeah.
And the guy jumping right in is the Silver Fox, Kelly Rempel. How are you, Fox?
I like peas, but I don't like carrots.
Gotcha. I like them both. As our business manager, Tyler Gross, said when I strode through these doors 20-some minutes ago, it's sweater season. Mm-hmm. Clearly sweater season here. Fall is upon us. Is that the truth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, I have something to say about that.
Sure.
I think I might be the only person that I know that actually loves this time of year and looks forward to it.
I think you are the only one that I know.
Everybody gets depressed and, here's, now the leaves are starting to turn color. And it's my favorite time of year. NFL starting up, WHL starting up. And, my son's football, we're out there coaching and the weather starts to turn, a little bit crisper. It's football season.
Ripped guys are putting their shirts back on.
Yeah, that's another
that
thing.
Kind of thing.
Good things.
All
That's
good
right.
things.
That's right.
With this time of year. Coming up on the program today. Did you change the camera shot, Darren? Why am I just boom right into people's
Finally, they
phones?
can see you.
I liked it better the old way.
Well.
I just show up and talk. They line up all this other stuff, as you well know. Anyways, on today's program, Mike McCullough, looking forward to this, former rider and a future Hall of Famer, Plaza of Honor member, I believe. Mike McCullough will join us, two-time Grey Cup champion out of St. FX, Kingston, Ontario product. Kevin Glenn will be making his second appearance ever on the program, and I have no idea what he wants to talk about other than Clark Monroe obviously lined him up, and we will forever owe a debt of gratitude to Kevin Glenn, correct? Mm-hmm. And you know what I'm talking about, Rems. Episode 3.
Breaking the big
only
news.
The third show we'd ever done, Kevin Glenn comes on here to announce his retirement on his 40th birthday. So we think a lot of Kevin Glenn. We're going to bring him back on today to talk about how his retirement's going and where things are at from his perspective going into the second half of the CFL season, because it is Labor Day Classic weekend in the Canadian Football League. We have not put up our traditional poll question just yet for what is Canada's game of the week. I get a pretty good idea what it is anyways. But I changed the poll question today because I saw a tweet from Sportsnet 590 Radio in Toronto this morning, and obviously you saw it too.
Yeah.
I don't know if you did, Kelly. But it said, would you support an NFL team in Toronto? And I'm like,
here we go again. Failed experiment.
How many times do you guys need to realize in Toronto you're not getting a team? What is it going to take? So here it is. The Argos go and sign a 7-year-old leukemia patient today. Kind of a children's wish thing. And they don't want to talk about that in Toronto. They want to talk about, can we get an NFL team? Like, it's not coming.
No.
Now, on the flip side, there's many of us that I think you guys are included in that would love to see a CFL team in Halifax. And you know what? That might be a pipe dream too. And that's what's led to the poll question for Capital Auto Mall, Universal Collision Center. What happens first? An NFL team in Toronto, a CFL team in Halifax, or neither? You guys want to take a stab at that?
It's not going to be an NFL team in Toronto. That's not going to happen. So it's now it's down between the
CFL and Halifax.
Yeah, I don't know. That's
Yeah.
like, it's 50-50, really. I mean, I don't know. I think that there are enough people that want to get it done that I still hold a little bit of hope. Like, I do hold some hope for the Halifax situation, but there's zero for the Toronto. So that's where I stand on it.
Yeah, you know what? I think the CFL will come to Halifax long before the NFL comes to Toronto. It's nice. It's nice to think about it. I know Toronto considers themselves kind of American city adjacent, right there.
They're unpatriotic. Let's just say it
a little bit. But yeah, I don't think it's happening. I really don't. Not yet.
So we got. What are you voting for? CFL and Halifax or neither?
CFL.
We're both saying CFL and Halifax. The thing is, the NFL, Toronto, you blew it. You had a chance with the Bills series. You didn't fill the stadium, and it's hilarious. They're like, we don't want the Bills. We want a winning team. So does everybody else. Get in line. It doesn't work that way unless you're New England. So, no, I don't.
There's your chance to buy a ticket, to fill the place, and show the NFL that you want a team.
And they blew it.
They weren't even close. I think they had 39,000 people and 60,000.
Weren't even close. And the other thing is, Jim Lang, who is Canada's foremost NFL expert who's been on this program, said to me a few years ago, the biggest reason that they're not going to get a team is because of the stadium. That's what it is. They certainly have the population. They do love football, I believe, but they can't play in Rogers Centre. It's 55,000 seats. It's now 30 years old.
Do they love football?
Well, now we're going down a really good road because Jim goes, well, Rod, Toronto's an NFL city. I said, really? Well, then Regina's an NHL city, Jim. Just because we like it doesn't make us a city. Come on. And he goes, well, there's Cowboys fans, there's Viking fans, there's Bills fans. Yeah, because you don't have one team. Saskatchewan, sorry to say, is not an NHL province because we don't have a team. And frankly, I like the fact that we're sitting in the Bermuda Triangle of the NHL, as I like to call it, right between Calgary, Edmonton, and Winnipeg, because we get a different game on television every single night. We're in all their regions. This is the greatest place in the world. So I guess we're an NHL town. How's that? See what you learned today?
Yeah. That's news.
Good rant.
And I didn't even plan it. And I didn't even mention. There you go for Bronco Plumbing and Heating. Rod's rant.
See, spontaneous.
If Toronto is an NFL town, then Saskatchewan is an NHL province. Speaking of NHL, Darren Millard. Everybody wanted to know where he went from Sportsnet when he left. News this morning out of Vegas. He is joining the Golden Knights as the host of their television broadcast. And they've smoked the crew that they've had the last couple of years there, which included Brad May. So there's some more broadcasting news for you. But the biggest guest today will be the one and only Kenny Miller, who will be joining us from the mountains of North Carolina.
Wow.
And we've been trying to line this up for a while. Kenny wasn't real confident in his technology computer skills to be able to pull this off. But Clark worked on him for days. And they tested it yesterday, or what, 2 days ago, I guess, Darren?
Yeah.
So Kenny Miller, the beloved Ken Miller, perhaps the most lovable coach in Saskatchewan Roughriders history. Would I be right on that?
Joe Farragelli and Ken Miller.
Papa Joe.
Probably the two most likable coaches in Saskatchewan Roughrider history.
Oh, you're serious about Farragelli? I never really... That was a long time ago, Kelly.
Yeah. Well, but that's why I'm here to bring back the past.
The historical...
That's right.
Yeah.
I think Joe Farragelli was adored by fans, and I think Ken Miller was adored by fans.
Difference being... Ken Miller got the Riders to the Grey Cup.
Not saying they were equal as far as coaching ability.
Right. Just people liked them.
Right.
Okay.
Likable people.
And I'm glad actually that you brought that up because the CFL yesterday with New Era launched their new line of hats. Did you see that?
The retro
New Era hats. And they really whiffed on the Rider hat. They whiffed on it. It's mint. That's the color of it. Mint. Clark, can we get a photo of that? It's on my Instagram. Or somewhere. It's on the commissioner's Twitter because I retweeted it.
Mint green.
Mint. And it says Saskatchewan Roughriders. Like, what do the old school pictures of Eagle Keys and John Payne, what do they have in common? Do you remember what was on the hats that they wore?
No.
It was dark forest green with a big white S on it. Why wouldn't you do that? But
that's not much different than just the regular retro.
But that's what they wore.
All right, Clark's got a job now. You got to find Eagle Keys and these old retro hats, and then what the New Era.
According to Clark, he says it's supposed to look like a faded old Rider hat. Well, they've accomplished it. Oh, and by the way, it's not like I don't see 300 of those on a daily basis in this town. Why would they have to go buy a new one that looks faded?
Yeah.
Now I'm dating myself, clearly. It's like, why would you buy a set of jeans with holes ripped in them already? Makes no sense, but okay.
You haven't dated yourself. You forgot about Joe Farragelli.
Yeah, fair enough. That's right. I'm a millennial. Jason writes in this morning from Halifax, Ontario. He says, was nice meeting you in Moncton and giving a shout out on your page. Jason, my pleasure. This guy came up to me wearing a hat that said CFL Hobo across. CFL Hobo across. And he said he's trying to trademark that. Guys,
CFL.
He's been in 10 CFL stadiums in the last 30 days, this guy.
Wow.
Jason. And by the way, he's raising money for families of Canadian soldiers who have committed suicide.
That's super cool. You know what? I saw this, and it was a Hockey News Things to Do Before You Die book, and it reminds me, in the Western Hockey League, they say you got to try the flat 5 in 5, which is to go to all 5 Saskatchewan Western Hockey League arenas.
That'd be fun.
For a game in 5 consecutive days. I don't know if the schedule lines up every year for that to happen, but I think it can, or it used to.
You could do a 5 and 6 because they don't play Mondays and Thursdays.
Yeah, so now that the schedule changes, but you used to be able to do the 5 and 5. So it reminds me what he's doing. If he's visiting all the stadiums in 30 days, that's pretty cool.
Speaking of, two things, camera angles. Casey's watching this morning in Regina, and he says he likes the old camera angle too. He doesn't care to see my nose hairs. I think he's onto something. I just noticed them in the gym mirror this morning, and I should have plucked them. If I would have known you're going to zoom in on me, I would have plucked my nose hairs before I came here. You're just dropping things on me all the time that I don't even expect.
It's fairly inconsiderate of these guys.
I know. And then the other thing is Moose Jaw. We have a new sponsor, and I will ring the sponsor bell in a moment, but it is Sask Snow Beef. And at the game, Kelly, which I am kicking myself 48 hours later that I didn't go to the game, because you did, for the Pats and the Warriors of the night. Our new sponsor came out and introduced himself.
He did. I wanted to take a picture of Cody Beach reffing the game. So I kind of walked down to the crowd so I could be close enough to the boards to take a picture of him so I could tweet it out and have some fun with that. And fella, really nice guy, young guy, comes up to me. Hey, Kelly, how are you? Kelly Rempel, right? Silver Fox? I said, yeah. Ian Crosby, and we started talking. And this guy's passionate about this snow beef. Like
and the dub.
And he was talking about the sponsorship and how much he loved the show. And he's got these ideas as to, the type of sponsorship he was talking about, maybe doing like, a feature on prospects or whatever. I don't think we've nailed that part of it down completely. Maybe we have.
We have. It's prospects.
But he had these great ideas and just the energy and excitement coming from this guy was just it was great. Great way to spend the third period talking to Ian. I loved it.
Sask Snow Beef. Hey. The newest sponsor here on the Rod Pedersen Show. Thank you, Ian Crosby. Of all places, I met him on the beach in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico last winter. Yeah.
All I asked him.
Where they have terrible beef. Mexico.
Yeah, it's not great, is it?
No, they don't have Sask Snow Beef.
No, they sure don't. They sure don't. The only thing I asked him, if nothing else, if you're bringing samples, make sure it's on a Thursday. That's all I asked. Is that too much to ask?
Well, you know how I feel about bringing food samples into the bunker. I'm against it.
That's what we have a pre-show
I don't like
and a
people
post-show meeting.
Eating on the show. Call me crazy. But anyways.
I didn't say we had to eat it on the show.
Our director of scouting, Craig Smith, writes in on the Facebook feed, 2-time Grey Cup champion. He says, I like the old camera angle too. No offense. Now I'm going to jump onto the desk, I think. Can you literally see my nose hairs?
No. Maybe
you can't. Maybe they can.
I don't know. I need to get.
Can we have a discussion
checked.
about this?
I need to get my eyes checked.
Let's move on.
Maybe that's the new poll question. By the way, when we come back, NFL in Toronto we'll get to. The other Labor Day Classic games this weekend I want to talk about too. Edmonton, Calgary, Hamilton, Toronto. Will the Riders sign Chris Matthews? Everywhere I go, people are asking that. I was on TSN Winnipeg Radio this morning. They asked that. I don't know why they would. Tom writes in from Grand Prairie this morning. He says, Brendan Taman in the Leader Post said he was trying to trade for Matt Nichols before getting fired in 2015. Interested on hearing some thoughts on that. I'm certainly down with talking about that. And Clark, our producer Clark, has found the CFL retro hats pick. So before we go to break here in the warm-up, can you throw that up, guys, on both screens? There's the one on the left and the one that we can see it if you don't mind. There you go. I really like that ref hat, it's not a ref hat. It looks like a ref hat. The CFL one, top left. Mm-hmm. Mark Cohan used to lose his mind when I used that logo all the time on all my digital stuff. He lost his mind.
Well,
he's like, Rod, we have a new logo for a reason. Yeah, but I like this one, Mark.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. They spent thousands of dollars.
Right. He would lose
a new one.
His mind.
The Argos hat is nice. I like the Argos.
The Argos is my favorite hat.
Good. That's
nice.
The
one I picked.
And you know what? The Tie Cats is classic and true to their nature.
Look at Edmonton. Hasn't changed in 40 years.
No, that's probably my favorite.
I respect that.
That's cool.
That's probably my favorite one.
What else? Ottawa's is Hamilton's hasn't changed.
Yeah.
I like the old Ottawa.
And whatever the hell that thing is on the bottom left.
Yeah, what is that?
That is the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Very Winnipeg-ish.
Don't like that one.
Anyways, we'll talk about that and more when we return. Whoa, that's me right into your phone, right into your hand. That's the warm-up. We'll be right back. Canada's most watched Facebook Live show is The Rod Pedersen Show. And listen live on rodpedersen.com.
You're watching Rod Pedersen on demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.